So now we're going to start with a new chapter that is nothing but the microbes in human welfare. Okay, so microbes and human welfare. Till now, when the human health and diseases, we've been seeing about the topic stating, okay, the microbes will cause that kind of disease, this kind of disease. You have to use antibiotics, etc., to treat them. All these we've seen. But actual fact is that though they are harmful, okay, we cannot survive or we cannot run anything properly without the microbes. Microbes, there are also some microbes which are like very friendly, and without microbes our day will not be complete. Okay, so now in this chapter, what we're going to see is how are microbes useful in the day-to-day activities. Okay, so actually after the discovery of microscope by Anton van Leeuwenhoek, okay, Leeuwenhoek is a scientist who discovered the microscope. He accidentally found a bacterium growing. Okay, so it is said that he is the one who discovered bacteria also. Okay, so now we're going to see how are the microbes useful to the human beings. Okay, now I'm going to divide this into various categories and then explain each one. Okay, first is in normal household activities. Okay, so first thing is normal day-to-day activities, how are the microbes useful? Okay, so first of all, microbes, okay, the main important thing, we used to make dough, right? The idli batter, dosa batter. For all that, microbes play an important role. Okay, and apart from this, mainly, okay, microbes will help in the conversion of milk, churning of milk. Milk is converted into curd with the help of the bacteria. That bacteria name is nothing but Lactobacillus bacterium. Okay, so the protein present in the milk is called as casein protein. Okay, the protein present in the milk is called as casein protein. This milk protein is, the bacteria will act on this protein and convert this casein into curd. Okay, and with that it will also emit some carbon dioxide. Okay, so this churning of milk, this curdling of milk is done with the help of the bacterium called as Lactobacillus. Okay, so some might have, see what we'll do is normally to make curd, we'll take little amount of curd and then add more amount of milk. Okay, so that this bacteria present in the curd will utilize the entire thing and convert them into milk. Okay, so convert the milk into curd. Okay, you cannot pour milk in the curd and wait for that to grow. No, it won't happen. Okay, so Lactobacillus needs more milk and less curd so that it can grow properly. If the proportion is not proper, it won't curdle properly. Okay, so the next application is that for idli and dosa batter, bacteria is also used, that is nothing but your yeast. Okay, yeast is, that is nothing but Saccharomyces cerevisiae. So yeast, if you see, it is used in almost all activities. It is almost used in all this bakery kind of stuffs, this batter stuffs, for everything yeast is primarily used. Okay, so if you see after grinding the dough properly, they leave that open with the lid closed overnight. So morning if you see, the levels will be raised. Okay, if you just, there'll be half an inch or 1 inch raise in the level of the batter which you've left. That is because the batter is completely acted by the yeast and that resulted in the emission of carbon dioxide gas. So that is why there is a puffing. Even in bread and bakery, there'll be puffing. You can see bubbles, right? The cake, if you see the cross section, you can see small bubbles. That is nothing but the emission of carbon dioxide gas. Okay, next. The traditional, this is one, toddy. Okay, so toddy is a traditional drink. It is made from the sap of palm plant. Sap of palm plant. Okay, so what, palm tree, sorry. So what happens is that they'll just make a cut, tie a pot to that plant. Okay, so that the sap will ooze out and come in the pot. So what happens, naturally it will be acted upon by the bacterium and it will become an edible drink. Okay, so toddy is actually one such drink which is being prepared. You can find it mostly in the village sites. Okay, In the rural areas, this drink is very famous. And then in cheese making, cheese is actually made by the action of bacterium over the milk. It can be a bacteria or fungi or anything, okay. So microbes will act on the milk and that will only end up in the formation of cheese, okay. Some of the example is that Propionibacterium, Roquefort cheese is made by Roquefortibacterium. Then Propionibacterium shermani. These are all some examples, okay. So along with the milk products, if you add on some microbes, that will end up in cheese. There are actually more than 200 to 300 types of cheese depending upon the medium and the microbe used. So these are all the examples for the products which are used in household day-to-day activities for the microbes. Next is that we're going to see about the fermentation industry. So fermentation, when I say fermentation, it clearly states that it is the alcohol beverages, okay. So you have varieties, so many types of alcoholic beverages, okay. So what is the difference is that on what medium, see I can prepare alcohol from any sugar source, okay. From any sugar giving source I can prepare alcohol. So whatever source I'm choosing and how many times I'm distilling, accordingly the quality and the taste will vary, okay. Now, you have various sources. For example, distillation, here the microbe used is again, yeast is mainly used in the fermentation industry, okay. So the enzyme zymase present in the yeast will help in the conversion and fermentation of the alcohol, okay. You have different varieties of alcohol, correct. Beer is considered to be the cheapest and it has got the least percentage of alcohol, okay. And then beer is made from barley, okay. So depending upon, and wine is made from grape juice. There is no alcohol in wine, it is totally made from grape juice. Then your vodka is made from potatoes, okay. Then whiskey, these are all made from these pulses and cereals, okay. So depending upon the source, whatever source we're using, accordingly I'll get the taste, okay. So distillation is again the process of purification, okay. You know that wine, the longer the rate of the wine, the better the taste will be, okay. So all these are, the differences are coming out because of the, depending on the source and the distillation time. And one more thing is that, as I told you, the main formula for the formation of alcohol is that C6H12O6. So any sugar source, okay. By the action of enzyme yeast, what happens is that C2H5OH plus CO2. So this is your equation, okay. So yeast helps in conversion of this hydrocarbons into alcoholic group. So this is so it is widely used in the fermentation industry. See the molasses, sugarcane waste, that is also used as a source for the preparation of fermentation. So whichever source I'm choosing, accordingly I'll get that kind of product, okay. So the next one is your antibiotics. So antibiotics, as I told you, it is antibiotics is used against the bacterium, okay. So to kill bacterium, antibiotics are used. So obviously the antibiotics are not from bacterium, it is from other microbes like mainly from your fungi, okay. So the first antibiotic which is discovered is your penicillin by Alexander Fleming, okay. So penicillin is from the fungi Penicillium notatum, okay. And this is widely used in World War I to treat so many soldiers who are injured, okay. So in World War I, the most widely, this saved the lives of many from the World War I. So penicillin is the first discovered antibiotic. Followed by this, you have many other types of antibiotics like streptomycin, zincomycin, so lot of mycins, okay, strepto, staphylo, all these. So these are all antibiotics are used to treat the bacterial disorders, okay. So followed by antibiotics, the next example is that we are going to see about the sewage treatment plan, okay. So this is your heading, okay. So microbes are mainly used in the process of sewage treatment, okay. How are they useful? See, you know the population number. The growing population is very huge, correct? So in spite of that, all the wastes are being dispersed, and you have to make sure the waste is not directly sent into the rivers or seas for the dispersal. You have to make sure it is not harmful and then only disperse. So in these steps, okay, microbes have a major role to play for reducing the toxicity of the waste. Okay, so you cannot say it is completely pure, but microbes will definitely reduce the toxicity of the sewage plant. So if you see the sewage treatment plant, there are 3 steps: primary treatment, secondary treatment, and tertiary treatment. Okay, these are the 3 steps. So in primary treatment, what I will do majorly is that I will remove solid particles. I'll write it here. Primary, I will remove solid particles. So this can happen by just filtration. Okay, so if I filter, I can remove that by hand picking or by filtration, then sedimentation. Okay, so by all these methods, I can remove the solid particles present in the sewage water, correct? Filtration, sedimentation, or I can also hand picking methods, or centrifugation, whatever, I can remove the solid particles. Okay, so the primary step would be removal of the solid particles. Followed by that, secondary step will involve the microbes here. Okay, what happens is that I will send this, I call this as effluent. Okay, after sedimentation, whatever fluid is left on the top, I call it as effluent. So now what happens is that so here the solid particles are all settled down, correct? So I will have a outlet here. So I will pass this to a second tank for the secondary treatment. So in this secondary treatment, what I will do is, I will add a little amount of, say this much, of flocks. I will add a little amount of flocks. What are these flocks is that, flocks are the association, microbial association of your fungi. Okay, so fungi and bacteria or algae together will form some flocks. Okay, bacteria and fungi. So what will they do is that, these flocks, the microbes present in the flocks, will feed on the organic material present in the water. Okay, so they'll feed upon the organic content in the water. Okay, so what happens when they feed on the organic content of the water, the oxygen demand in the water is reduced. Okay, when you have more organic content, you have more oxygen demand. But when the organic content is reduced, the oxygen demand is also reduced. Okay, so these microbes, the flocks which I have introduced, will feed mainly on the organic content of the water, and they are all aerobic, they are all anaerobic bacterium, anaerobic organisms. Okay, so what happens, they don't need oxygen, they don't consume any oxygen. See, if I add aerobic microbes, they'll consume oxygen and they'll make it even more polluted. But what I'm adding here is only anaerobic microbes. So what happens is that anaerobic will not use oxygen and they'll feed only upon the organic content present in the water, thereby decreasing the organic content in the water and henceforth decreasing the oxygen demand, biological oxygen demand in the water. Okay, so what I'll do is, I'll just add 2 flocks. Okay, they will multiply. The flocks will feed on the organic matter and multiply nicely. Okay, so they'll multiply and the oxygen BOD levels are reduced here. Then what I'll do is that I will remove the effluent alone, that is the water alone. Okay, and I will digest these flocks in an anaerobic digester. So I will digest these flocks completely in the anaerobic digester. Okay, and this is called a sludge. Okay, now I will take this effluent and I will take the water alone for the tertiary treatment. Okay, so what I'll do is, before digesting an anaerobic digester, I will take little amount of flocks and use it for the next round. Okay, so I cannot use the entire thing. I cannot, just like the curd concept, I cannot pour milk in the curd and may wait for it to happen. No, I can only have little curd and more milk. Same wise, I have to remove excess amount of flocks and add little bit for the next process. I'll use as an inoculum for the next step. Okay. And finally, in the tertiary treatment, what will I do is that I will do irradiation like alpha, gamma rays treatment, X-rays, chlorination, etc. So whatever excess waste is available, like if at all there are some microbes or anything present which is escaped, primary and secondary, that I'll be treating in the tertiary treatment by either some irradiation, gamma rays, X-rays, etc., or chlorination, etc. Okay. So this is how. So after this, after all these steps, I'll just let the effluent go. I'll check the BOD. If the BOD is still harmful, I'll repeat it from the step 1 or from the step 2. If not, I'll check the water and I'll safely disperse it in the into the sea. Okay. So main thing my microbes are doing here is they are reducing the biological oxygen demand, BOD values.